Okay, hello. I'm not kidding, take something 40, maybe, no, it's really maybe take 15 of this video, but I keep going over the 10-minute mark. So I'm gonna really try to, I've got myself a list right here in front of me, and I'm like, just stay on point, Michelle. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. So if you see me look up, it's just me trying to make sure I stay on track and don't start to ramble, such as I've already started off with. But here we are, 50 days of wellness. And I am talking to you about wellness practices that I think make my life better. They may not work for you. They just are things I do for me. They made sense for me, and so I implement them. So today I'm going to talk about hormone replacement therapy, which is an extremely controversial topic, contradictory topic, and very sensitive topic. When I talk to friends about hormone replacement, everybody has their way that their mode, their method, and their tried and true philosophy and belief on hormone replacement therapy. Doctors have many different views. The research is contradictory and slightly confusing. And so I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can. And then at the end, if there's some time, I'll go into some other things. But here's the thing that you should know. I say often when I teach parenting classes, your brain is the CEO of your life. The development of a child's brain is important throughout their developing years. And understanding that children's brains develop from 0 to the age of 25 or 28 is important when you're parenting a child and you're watching them develop throughout the years. They do not have the capacity and the ability to think like an adult. So I say that because really and truly, the development of everything in our bodies and our life really depends on our hormones. And the pituitary gland, located at the base of the brain, is the determiner of, so really the brain is still the CEO of our bodies and our life, but really our hormones are. Our hormones, the significance and importance of hormones and stable hormones cannot be overstated. Hormones, they impact our ability to think. They impact our emotions. They impact our activity levels. I think of hormones as like a radio transmitter, and sending out messages to every part of the body, telling it how to function. The pituitary gland decides what hormone we need, how much of it we need, and when we need it. And our body's ability to produce hormones is directly impacted by the things we put in our body and the way we treat our bodies. So in other words, are we getting enough exercise? Exercise research shows that it has a direct impact on our body's ability to produce hormones. The foods we eat become our blood. Our hormones need us to be thoughtful about what we're doing with our bodies so that we can continue to produce hormones as long as we possibly can at an optimal level, as much as we can. Now, having said that, just like I said the other day, we're all going to age. That is inevitable. And as we age, our hormone levels are going to start to decline. And so when I was 37 and I had read this wonderful book, it started to make me think about things like knowing my numbers and understanding my numbers. And my hormone panel was part of that information. And so I could start to look at my hormones. So I could look from 37 all the way now to the age of 50 and see how my hormones have shifted or changed. What's interesting about hormones shifting and changing is when we all have, men and women, we have the same hormones in our bodies. We don't have the same levels, but we all have estrogen and testosterone, and we all have a thyroid, and we all have our hormones. Our bodies are producing the same things. It's just what they're producing and when and how much. So as boys are developing, they're getting more and more. Their testosterone is impacting their development. Women and females, our estrogen has an impact on the way we develop as women. So we have higher levels of estrogen, and men have higher levels of testosterone. But what levels we have are all different and unique to each of us. So there's a range that's appropriate for women for estrogen and for testosterone, and the same for men. And I should fall somewhere within that range, but I might fall on the lower end of the range, and you might fall on the higher end of the range for any one of your hormones. So what I would say is you need to do this. You need to have your hormone panels looked at, and you need to look at your T3 and T4, which is produced by the thyroid. And you need to look at your estrogen levels. You have 3 different estrogens, and you need to look at the ratios of the estrogens as they relate to each other, and your FSH. And you need to look at your progesterone and your testosterone and your FSH, and the ratios of your testosterone and your FSH. I need to have a thoughtful conversation with either your primary care physician, or I have it with my gynecologist, or really now I have it with a hormone replacement specialist, because at the age of 47, I started to notice a shift in mainly my energy level, and I had read enough and just thought to ask more questions about my hormones, and looked at it. And we looked at the hormone panel. My testosterone levels had dropped significantly. My estrogen levels were fine. All the other numbers were fine. It was just my testosterone levels that had dropped so much. And so I get a low dose of testosterone. And I've chosen to do what's called the Sotopelli, and it's a bioidentical, and it is it is a time-released implant in my body, and it goes directly into my bloodstream, and it doesn't have the impact on my liver that some of the other pharmaceuticals would have. And so those are some of the, that's what I chose for me. That doesn't mean it's right for you. So I have other friends that don't like that at all. They choose to use creams. So let's just talk a little bit about that. Methods for hormone replacement. You could do hormone shots. You could take an oral. You can do an injection like I do, not a shot, but it's an injection. And you could do creams. So here's what I don't like about creams. When I put body lotion on, I never really know how much I'm going to get. I mean, I haven't got the science down of getting just the same amount every single time out. And so some days I get a little more or a little less than others. And so I didn't want to do that with hormones. I want to know exactly what I'm getting, how much I'm getting, and when I'm getting it. There was a project out there, I'll call it a project, called the Women's Health Initiative, and doctors looked at hormone replacement therapy, and the project was aborted, or the research was aborted, because throughout the research it was discovered that women's level of breast cancers were increasing as a result of hormone replacements. And so there are side effects to hormone replacements, and you need to know what they are and how they could impact you, and have that conversation with your physician. Now, the argument about the hormone replacement therapy in that particular study was that it was the estrogen that was causing the breast cancer, and some doctors would say it was because the hormone replacement was a drug called Premarin, which is derived from the urine of a pregnant horse. So that's why I'm telling you this, because you need to know the ingredients that are in your hormone replacements, so that it makes sense to you that whatever you're putting in your body would be something your body could actually use and reproduce like it normally would, or simulates something like it normally would. And so some doctors would say, well, of course, you can't put estrogen from a horse in a female human because they're not the same. And some doctors would say, oh, yes, you can. And the research supports that you can. And so that's what I'm going to say also about research. Research can go either way. We can argue for or against many things, and we could have some significant amount of research to support our course of action, and doctors can do the same thing. So it's important for you to feel empowered to ask questions, to do some research, to ask your doctor thoughtful questions, and to ask your doctor why they think what they're doing is best for you. So align yourself with doctors that never quit going to medical school. They're constantly learning, staying abreast of research and trends, and they can give you answers that you need. And also doctors that don't mind you asking them questions, because doctors that mind you asking them questions, their egos are either way too big and they're extremely insecure. The internet is full of information, and yes, that can be a scary thing, but it's also a really good thing because there are a lot of smart people out there doing a lot of great research and sharing information, and we should all be very thankful for that. And our doctors should be thankful that we have access to that kind of information and that we can come in and ask them intelligent questions. So I hope this was helpful. If not, please private message me and we can talk. Thanks. Have a good night.